Hello, this is me and just checking in at what's now nearly the end of the spring holidays. I've had 2 weeks off. Um, I'm pretty tired, I'm going to say that at the outset. I've had a really nice break and um, caught up with a lot of people, done a lot of things, visited family, read, um, done a bit of work, tried to learn sign language and failed. Um, got quite a lot of stuff done, and also just done quite a lot of reflecting and thinking and trying to work a bit on my ADHD and how to manage it better, because I think the tiredness, a lot of it comes from that constant risk of burning out. Interestingly, a friend of mine, a really good, lovely friend, had watched one of these videos and messaged me to say the overwhelming sense she gets from me is that I just feel sad. And I kind of reflected on that, because that's kind of not what I want these videos to be about. It's not about me being sad, but I think one of the things that I've realized is that actually it's hard to exist in the world at the moment. I think I've mentioned this before, without being sad. And one of the things I think for me as well, and perhaps I need to look again at how I manage this, is that sense of just being so easily influenced by other stuff that comes in. And I talk about not listening to the news and not allowing time for those things, but yeah, I don't know. I feel the world is quite a sad place, but then it always is. So I don't know where that sadness comes from. I'm going to say I think some of it is sadness at having had a diagnosis at 51 and wishing that I'd had it sooner, because I think my life has been harder as a result of not knowing that I had ADHD sooner. Anyway, that's a lot. So today I just really wanted to just reflect on a poem that I wrote a year ago, when I was in a worse place than I am now, I think, in terms of not really understanding what was quite going on in my life. And there was some things at work and just everything was quite difficult. And I was pretty proud of the poem at the time, because I think it sort of unleashed something in me, that my creativity, my voice. So I'm just going to read the poem. It's an Easter poem. I think that there was quite a lot of optimism in the poem, and around honesty and my voice being heard, and me kind of becoming more of the real me, partly as a result of having got this diagnosis. And I think I'm still living a lot of the time not as me, and there's a lot of, again, that's probably the tiredness, is trying to work out who I am, who I can be, how honest I can be. But one of the things that I know really I find hard is playing a game where I'm not able to be honest. And I mentioned recently that I've applied, been looking at kind of maybe exploring new career opportunities and applying for jobs, and I've had a bit of rejection. And there's a bit of me that thinks, is that because people know, or they'll have Googled me and they'll have seen that I am honest? And in the past, I know people have thought of me being too honest. Um, but there's a sense in which that honesty is one of my core values, and integrity, and calling things out when they're not right. And I know that there's a political game to be played, and a sense in which you have to be honest in moderation at times. But as I've said before, I'm I am very reflective, and I do think hard before I say things. But I think when things need to be said, they need to be said. And one of the things, again, I'm struggling with right now in the world is this just proliferation of leaders, political leaders, who just seem to get away with dishonesty, and that's hard. I think it's hard for all of us, and I think we should just be able to say that, rather than just pretending that it's okay. Um, so yes, so that's where I am. And in terms of career and what I do next, I have done a lot of reflecting, and actually, I still just really want to be a school leader and a head teacher. That's a dream, and whether it happens or not, I can't deny that that is a dream, and that all the things I've worked towards. Um, if I were now to do something different, I think it would be fine, but it's not what I'm about. doing something else. I've trained and worked and got all this experience and education and working with children and shaping lives and working with families and helping us to get the best for children is what I'm about. So the poem. So I wrote this a year ago, but it's an Easter poem. It's called Will You Dance on a Sunday? She is no Messiah. That complex is not one of hers. She is no daughter of God. And yet, maybe this Easter, resurrection is on the cards. Has she been brave, letting the words fall out? Maybe. Will the truth be heard, so that the voices of the Pharisees and haters can be shaken off? Or will they carry on strangling in the solitude they prefer until they win, and she can breathe and speak her truth no more? One thing is for sure. She shall not any longer aid that process by trying to hold her breath. She is actually good, tilted or not. No more show. She cannot wait for those who hold the power to push back that boulder and help her escape. Waiting is no longer an option. And of course, the obvious irony that the boulder is partly of her own making, gathering up the excrement that others have thrown at her over time, like a scarab, until she has become trapped by it, unable to escape, even pushing it up the same hill over and over in some perverse morphing of Sisyphus and groundhog. But hell is not other people. No one else can push the burden away until she is ready to accept that it needs to go. And then the helpers will be there to see her rise again, dance again, and fling off that devil on her back, to smile more, talk less, and in so doing, say more, love more, save more. But before she saves someone else, save her. She requests forgiveness where she has sinned, maybe not least for these shocking illusions, and offers forgiveness to those willing to repent and change. She is worthy of redemption, resurrection. She is no Messiah. That complex is not one of hers. She is no daughter of God. And yet, maybe this Easter, resurrection is on the cards. There's a soundtrack, my ADHD soundtrack, a Spotify playlist which I have made, and that's a lot of that is related to that. So I'll see if I can work out how to share that. So there we go. Happy holiday, happy Easter if that's your thing. Happy Ramadan, Ramadan Mubarak if you're if you're celebrating Ramadan, Passover. May it be safe and peaceful. Whatever you're doing this weekend, I hope it's restful, peaceful. Thanks for listening. I hope it makes some sense. If it does, that's great. Sometimes it's about me making sense of stuff myself. And if you're listening and it resonates, then it'd be lovely to hear from you. and that's it.